This presentation is about embedding the nature of science into the teaching and learning of the plate tectonics theory for a Year 9 science class. The relevant content descriptor for this subject is the theory of plate tectonics explains global patterns of geological activity and continental movement. So NOS characteristic 1, distinction between observation and inference. Observation is statements about facts that can be measured or observed by more than one person. Inferences are developing a conclusion based on evidence and reasoning. With the plate tectonics theory, it was a theory first proposed by scientist Alfred Wegener in 1912. Wegener didn't have an explanation for how continents could move around the planet, but researchers do now and was developed in the 1950s. An example of a learning activity that could be used in the classroom to explicitly teach this characteristic involves students reassembling a picture from clues. This activity can teach the students that many sources of evidence are often necessary to support new ideas. Nothing is ever proven in science, but hypotheses can be supported or disapproved by evidence. NOS 2. Distinction between scientific laws and theories. Many individuals hold a simplistic relationship between observations, hypotheses, theory, and laws. Hypotheses are developed from observations and then become theories, and theories become laws depending on the availability of supporting evidence. Laws. These are taken at time as facts until proven otherwise. Theories are how the evidence and reasonings always explains a phenomena. The explanations of how mountains were raised, volcanoes erupt, and Earth's surface changes have adjusted and improved over the years as more data becomes available and technology improves. Students to understand this NOS characteristic, a learning activity in the classroom may involve students gathering secondary source data to investigate the supporting evidence and the development of the plate tectonic theory. NOS 3. Scientific knowledge involves human imagination and creativity. Science involves the invention of explanations, and this requires a great deal of creativity by scientists. Albert Einstein once stated, "I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination." Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Some of the most important questions in science are either too large or too complex to answer directly, so scientists break them down. Scientists use creativity to determine which smaller questions are likely to yield results. To be creative, scientists need background knowledge, which they can gain by learning about past scientific work, talking to colleagues, and tapping their own experience. To help embed this characteristic for students, a learning activity may require students to learn about plate tectonics by researching, asking questions, and preparing their own presentation on a choice of topics around the impact of plate tectonics on the Earth and its inhabitants. NOS 4. Scientific knowledge is subjective and theory-laden. Is it possible that some scientists may look at the same pieces of evidence or set of data and see a different thing or come up with different conclusions? Yes, it is. Scientists believe beliefs, previous knowledge, training, and experiences influence their work. Science rarely starts with neutral observations. Different scientists can interpret the same data sets differently. How can this be so? Scientists do strive to be objective, but it is just not possible to be truly objective. Observations and interpretations without any bias. To get students to understand and start thinking about this characteristic, I would conduct a starter activity to show students how this can occur. An old activity would be perfect to stimulate student thinking on this characteristic. This activity focuses on constructing scientific knowledge which can be influenced by previous knowledge and experiences. Students are shown several different pictures with portraits of both an old lady and a young lady embedded in each picture. They are to discuss what they see and share with others to understand how things can be interpreted differently. NOS 5. Scientific knowledge is socially and culturally embedded. Scientific knowledge is produced within a larger society and culture. This means that the social and cultural elements such as politics, economics, power structures, religion, and philosophy will affect the science knowledge produced and how it is accepted. The plate tectonics revolution was the scientific and cultural change which developed from the acceptance of the plate tectonics theory. A class activity may involve students to reflect on their learning during this unit by constructing a flowchart to show the processes involved in the development of the theory of plate tectonics. They also can summarise in their learning journals of the understanding about how science knowledge accumulates and explanations are refined. NOS Characteristic 6. Scientific knowledge, including facts, theories, and laws, is tentative and subject to change. Scientific knowledge can be reliable and durable, but it is never absolute or certain. All of its knowledge, including facts, theories, and laws, are subject to change. Nothing is ever absolutely proven. For the plate tectonics theories, scientists have explained geology in many ways over time through new data and discoveries. From the 4th century BC, that earth rates derived from wind in caverns, to the early 20th century hypotheses of continental drift and seafloor spreading, which led to the development of the tectonic plates theory. Students can construct visually through mapping between particular ideas. This will enable the students to identify and make connections. An activity may involve students working in pairs to create a timeline of key events of plate tectonics over time. This will help them connect how scientific knowledge over time has been refined and how some relevant technological developments and cultures have changed and advanced our understanding of the world. The nature of science and scientific inquiry are intimately related. Inquiry experiences provide students with foundational experiences upon which to reflect about the aspects of nature of science in their learning activities. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. These are my references.